It's a football Friday, and for former Arizona Cardinals Pro Bowler Bertrand Berry and his wife Shelley, that means settling in to watch their son, Bertrand Berry II, play for the Highland Hawks. And Bertrand admits to feeling helpless and full of anxiety sitting in the stands watching his son play wide receiver.
But I never played receiver, so I couldn't really tell him how to do that job because I never did it. And once that lineman starts to take off, now you come and now you want to close that gap.
But early this year, inside his training facility in Phoenix,
you get 2 kicks back.
Bertrand began training his son to become a defensive lineman.
Now you anticipate hands.
Making the switch from wide receiver.
It was my call. I made the call and I talked to his coach, and then I spoke to him, his mother and I, and we just explained why it would be a better decision for him to make that change if he wanted to play long-time football, going into college and eventually playing pro, hopefully. And I think he was on board with it. I think there was probably a moment of a little bit of sadness, but I think ultimately he understood where I was coming from. And I think he has embraced it, he's accepted it. And the fact that I'm a coach, a G-line coach, it makes the transition that much easier and that much smoother for him.
Well, when he came to me with it at first, I was kind of skeptical about it. Obviously, I was dreaming to play receiver for a long time now. Obviously, Odell's my favorite player. So I was like, oh, I want to be like my idol, the guy that I always look up to. Judging on what happened last season, my sophomore year, there were times where I didn't really get to play that much. And seeing this as an opportunity to be able to raise my standings and get more time on the field, I just kind of went for it.
And with the change comes some added scrutiny for Deuce. The outside expectations and pressure to be as good, if not better, than his dad.
Of course, I sense it all the time. I guess not a lot of people really talk about it that much. I try not to talk about it personally. It's a little bit of pressure, yes. Living up to that Pro Bowl type play. But my goal is to be in the NFL like he was, be a Pro Bowler, and maybe even be a better player than he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bertrand understands the pressures his son faces trying to live up to his name.
Vision is going to be very key in his development and awareness of down and distance, all those type of things.
Maybe that's why he's so tough on him in his training.
I am a little harder because he is my son, and I know that there's going to be more pressure on him, and the competitiveness in me comes out a little bit. He should be covering that distance to where he ultimately gets to a point where he's here on this offensive lineman. I always push him. I push him in ways that I maybe not push other kids because they're not my son. And I can talk to him in ways that I may not talk to a client and give them certain breaks that I may not give him. I'm a little more patient with my clients. Just be more physical than this guy. So he's got options. With him, I'm a little more, in his face right now because I know he's had to make a transition, and I know that the learning curve is so much steeper in a shorter period of time.
My dad played football, obviously. So having a football dad and loving football at the same time is just a great way for me to learn and just play the best game I got.